Well, I ended up uh, being a single parent, and uh, and I had three kids. This is the youngest one here, and we would go out out in the winter, going camping and mostly renting cabins and such. And we were active in the Hoodoo Mountains, not even knowing about the Arctic man at all. And it's beautiful stuff up there, and you have access using if Vanda, valleys and so on, so that you can actually get into places. Um, and it can be quite uh, a, uh, a bit of work to get through sometimes because you can easily get stuck in it and so on. Um, my elder son uh, was strong and knew what he was doing too. So we would take the other two kids out. Uh, and after a while, my daughter became bored with it, and it was just the guys that were out. And we only discovered a particular time uh, when the Arctic man started out. Uh, and of course, I like it better without them. But it's an interesting thing in itself. And we've gone camping mostly in cabins in White Mountains and out toward uh, uh, out of town and so on, as well as here the broad uh, uh, pass, uh, various places. So the the youngest is too young to go doing on his own, but with my older son and the kid, we could be pretty safe. And he always had it was under control, uh, and we would spend days out just experiencing all these things. The sight is usually very good when it's not when there's not snow or whatever. It's very clear. But the uh, what happened was that in the 1980s, uh, they started this, and it's a matter of skiing down through over off of a mountain, um, and then it reached uh, a little valley. Uh, they hook on the skier, which hooks it with a snow machine, and then they race as fast as they can to another drop off, and the skier will go down to the at the end, and they would time all that, and so it involves a lot of that. As you'll see some of that uh, how they did this. Um, they would the uh, athletes that are actually played this game were pretty good, but the people that came to watch them were kind of a mixed group, and you'll see that as well. Uh, they drift fast enough that they're actually in the air. They bounced over here, and you can see the machine up in the air, and the skier is getting lifted up in the air and going down. They go very fast. As fast as mostly they didn't get that fast, but on some spots they now the last few years they were doing this. They could hit 90 miles an hour with dragging the skier. As you can see, they didn't waste any time. Um, they're probably going about 70 at this picture. And of course, the skier got all that stuff uh, stirred up by the machine. So the skier was always had an interesting ride. Now let's see if I can get this going. It should be a little sketch.
Wow, that is so fast.
Yes.
Crazy.
Okay, just a second here. Okay. And so that people who came camped here um, uh, mostly just watched and then played themselves in the snow themselves. The most that ever came out um, is has been a substantial number, um, but uh, they usually stay about 3 days, uh, and sometimes just 2. But they generally what happens is that they come and while the racers are getting all ready and checking things out, they fly around on the snow, um, and some of them are very good and some of them aren't. But there are thousands of them, as you can see. What they're doing here is that they're at the place where they hook in uh, the snow machine and the skier together, and they watch that. That's what he's doing here, just is looking at what's going on. And they generally are there to watch the uh, the temperature and all that can be quite strange. I mean, some of them is just plain old some. It's late in the season, and with there's no wind and a lot of sun, you can be quite uh, comfy out as these guys are doing. Um, and but other times it might be snowing. Sometimes the clouds come in. It all depends. So one year to the next are different. This is where the end is. So the last bit that the skiers go is along this, and here is the goal, and that's where they get the time. And these folks are waiting to see. Um, you never see this number of snow machines anywhere else in Alaska, I'm sure, at one time. And these guys, some of them are really skilled. Um, this is one of the tour, and his number was 56. But there are some real masters of the snow, and one of the problems is that if you get too far away from where all this is going on, it's pretty dangerous. There are there are depending on the nature of the snow, sometimes it's very fluffy and deep and easy to get stuck in. Sometimes it's entirely different snow that they're on. And what first happened was that they were using plain snow machines that people would normally have anywhere. And instead, later, these are specialized machines. They're for mountains. Some of them are incredibly powerful, and they can go almost straight up if they're on snow. But they're not all that fast on the flats usually. And one of the problems is they tear up the trails up around Fairbanks. Uh, they're not nice to groomed trails and that sort of thing. Um, I'm not very happy with these guys, but that's what they do. And they love playing in the mountains, and these guys are pretty good. They're working with right now. Not everybody is, and a lot of people get stuck. But with so many people around, they're able to help each other out and get them unstuck. And they can get in the air pretty easily, bouncing off of levis and all kinds of stuff, where they could get in air and then go landing in the snow with it. As you can see, I mean, this person came down and then into a low spot, and then bounced back on top.
Ooh.
But they don't always make it. And, um, and that's pretty common. No, what in my family, we ended up with usually with three machines as the youngest gets a little older. We had plain old trail machines. We didn't do this kind of thing. It was all we could do to climb up on steep mountains to get up at various places. But we could easily see what's going on. And I've been going since the 1980s up to now, maybe every second or third year, doing a series of photography with them. The thing that I interested was really looking at this particular kind of a procedure and what people are doing for fun and what they were like. It's their own way of having fun, as you'll see a little while later. And Is that here? You get out in the area, you have to be pretty careful. For example, my oldest is standing there at one of the things that can get you in. There are little streams under the snow, and if you hit it the wrong way, you basically crash. And he's looking at it before taking his snow machine through. But every once in a while you get stuck. In this particular case, there was a little pond in the valley, and what often happens is that there's a west layer full of water, kind of like mush, and then snow that's on top of it, and you can't see the difference. But if you hit it, it turns to mush. And if you don't get your snow machine out fast, it freezes there, and it'll be there until spring. Uh, so my son is on the far side of getting his machine out of the pond. He had somebody get stopped and helped. And depending on the snow, if it's a very deep snow, you stand off your snow machine, and you can go down 3 and 4 feet down. So you need to keep your hold on the snow machine, which has just enough floating capability for you to keep going. But you really need other friends to help out. Not everybody always it easily gets out of the snow. Just a second here. They're stuck. They'll end up helping each other getting out. Okay, let's get on to the next one. I occasionally had a little trouble myself. That's me, and I damaged the windshield when I turned up upside down. That's some damage, and here I'm trying to get it fixed, ready to keep going. Now this is the guy. Howie Case is the guy who started all this. It's about 1885, and he had a personal bet about how fast he could get down, and then he and some other friends started building this process. The Arctic man first started out with just a bunch of guys pulling everything together and just racing. The problem was that when more people came in, there were some problems. For example, there was some theft going on. People would find people's vehicles, and they would steal batteries and stuff. So he was able to get the police, to get the state highway folks to produce some order, and things have been pretty easy since then. as you can see, this is a lot of troopers here. This is they came in numbers. In fact, what they did is they took this region. You generally put everyone in that section together, and so it takes care of a lot of issues. It's including driving vehicles uh, in south, so people weren't running into each other because they're drunk or something. And this is one of the things that they do that help. In this case, the troopers' helicopter was going to a with its snow machine is where they shouldn't be, because they were starting to get avalanches there. Over time, there have been a number of people who've died falling into crevasses up in the mountains, or something else that they had trouble with the avalanche. Yeah, let's see if we can. There's a snow shield that the troopers were telling him to get the heck out of there before you get an avalanche that'll nail you. But the most that ever showed up was 13,000 people, and they came here. And there's a connection of a group of snow machines larger than I think anywhere else in Alaska. They were all over the place. So what Howie did was to get the ability to use this area, which was once a pipeline place. They took all the buildings out, but the left. It had a landing area. Everything was nice and flat, and it's a great place to have camping going on. And so people would pay a certain amount to get a spot to keep their RV in. And at a time, and he used the money to pull all this stuff, and that's how people paid for all this. Usually by machine, by RV or whatever, and there are more than you would imagine. When you have hundreds of RVs. And this is just one section where they're parking their old snow machines. And he had a beer tent set up. Here, the racers are getting their orders and all of that, but it's heated. And everything is in order. Then in the evening, they're open for drinking, and a lot of that happens. And what they do is when they're in down at the camping area, is they drive around and around and around in the parking lots. And here are some of them. Um, it's a certain way of living for these guys, and it's interesting to take pictures of them. But I never really got in to their way of having fun. And what happens very often is that these guys would have show off to other young men about how much they owned. So they would come in with an RV to sleep in, uh, their snow machines, and then also machines like this. Um, and the one they try to out uh, uh, try to get better than the others. So they come in. Some of these guys were in the late 80s, rather. Excuse me. They're 20 ages, 27, something like that, and they're trying to out buy the others, and they kind of show off to each other. And very often they come in before uh, the race, and they play in the grass, the snow, and then they watch the race, and then they drive around and down here where the camping is. And then the next day they go away. So with all that in machines and all that treasure is spent just for a few days. And of course, the next year they're that much older. They're a year older, not the latest, less uh, fancy machines. And so they need to get new ones. I mean, I don't know where they get all this money. One thing they like to do is to just go around from one lot to another and do it again. And they usually bring out uh, some uh, things to sit on, generally uh, something like this. And then at the end, before they're going home, they burned it. So they had fire. This will then be ashes before they go. And there are some people asking for uh, consideration of their special interests. And this banana decided to take pictures. Um, I I still don't understand why this guy is running around in his banana outfit, but he has a lot of fancy photography information or equipment there. Uh, this is a photographer from News Minor, uh, and now they don't have any photographers. They have people who work for or part of the newspaper, and they take pictures on the side. They would write it and also take pictures. But at this particular time, News Minor had three photographers, and this is one of them sent down. But News Minor, as you probably know, is very close to ending up going down because it just didn't have the money, and it's a whole story with that I don't want to go in now. But that's they've pulled things together again, and they provided. The idea was that it's likely that everybody would go have some beers at night, and so they would have uh, uh, buses going around picking up people to go drink, um, and you'd be hauled back to their RVs. and they had a lot of stuff to drink, all ready to go. And there were bands and dancing and that sort of thing going on. They're setting up right here. And there were concessions for eating at various places. Uh, this one is just one of probably a dozen uh, providing food if people want it. This is a barbecue operation, and they do business then in the tent. Here they're deciding what who won what, and they would hand out uh, their trophies. As you can see, there were actually in some of the years there was money involved, as much as $20,000 for the race, depending on how things are worked each year. Uh, the uh, and their dealers came by to try to sell their stuff. And so there were operations here. This is trying to sell more snow machines. A number of them. Almost every kind you'd ever want. Um, and these things have gotten very expensive. Um, for a really fully ready to go mountain snow machine can cost a good $10,000. I mean, they're really expensive. Um, Not all of them cost that much, but if you want to win anything, you have to pay money. And I thought this was interesting. It looks like an insect that they're trying to sell. Um, they're really they really are trying to sell to the person. Never mind about how good they might be in what they're supposed to be doing. And people would rest and just look around at each other um, and just kind of hang out. But we're talking about a lot of RVs, you know, hundreds actually. There's a lot of money out there. There were a few people that early on would bring a tent of some sort and try to stay warm, but it's pretty much an RV operation now. And sometimes you have a family coming down, and as often as not, uh, somebody in the family would hang out in the RV and have their uh, pets with them. Uh, this dog, for example, wouldn't last very long outside, uh, and but just they wanted everything comfy, and just wait out until the people riding will come back home. The flat area there, amidst all the mountains, is really large, and so one of the things that is done is that they're all cleaned out all the snow was taken care of, everything else before anybody arranged. How he really organized everything. Uh, he he had a lot of friends that would help him. Uh, for example, the guy who started that did the uh, river ship. Uh, see if I discovery, I think he calls it, in Fairbanks, helped pull all this together initially. And he had some of his relatives. His son, for example, was help out. And this is my own. Uh, there's nothing of these are not mountain machines. I use them mostly for going to cabins down in Fairbanks area. Uh, and the this is near the end of the uh, of the race. And some things have changed a lot in the area. For example, this is Paxton, and this particular operation, this hotel and restaurant, has been in business for years, um, and it's on its very end right here. Uh, they were still you could still get a hamburger here, which we did. This is our machines and that we parked there. But everything like that is disappearing. There was a little lodge on Paxson uh, Lake itself, or close to the summit rather, and uh, that's what I did for the first couple of years. I bring the three kids down with me, and they were able to stay in warm, and they they were comfy pretty much. Um, but that would burn down, so that's not there anymore. Uh, and this is what happened to Paxton Lodge. I mean, it's done. There's nothing really local or very little, uh, because the Arctic Man uh, would have a lot of money, but that's only for that one weekend. But there's not much going on beyond that. There is some supplies, some piece along the river, um, and all of that, but not much. And I just wanted to suggest that there's a lot of interesting stuff if you just want a snow machine to go exploring. There's a lot of possibility in around Fairbanks itself. For example, this is looking down at Minto Flats, uh, and this is the route for the race, the dog races. This is heading up toward the Eagle uh, Pass, and that's all there is right now. And when the race goes, they've prepared this more, but this is what the snow looks like going up. And I stayed in a cabin right close to this. Uh, there, around if you know where to find them around Fairbanks, there are hundreds of miles of trades. If you especially if you get out of town. And we used to drive some to go various places. For example, this is the Tanana River, and what we common do is to uh, uh, take the sleds down to Ninana and then back again in one day. We'd go down and have a maybe lunch in Inanna and then come back again. But you have to be careful. The Tanana is pretty tricky. I mean, for example, this is right in the bed, and you can see there are open spots. It has to do with the how much the water is moving and where. And we've done some exploring out across from Fairbanks in the flats, and you come around a slough, and there would be an open spot right in front of you. You know, these could be a surprise, and it's easy to get lost. But anyway, we have all kinds of options around Fairbanks. This is part of the Tanana. And of course, the white mountain areas. And it's really maintained very well. You tries to rent cabins ahead of time. The White Mountains sometimes can be a challenge. The thing is that the mountains are full of porous rocks, and it has a lot of water. And during the winter, they come up on top of the snow, and it's pretty tricky stuff. It's very slick because it's got a little bit of water right on top of the ice, out of the ice, and it makes things a challenge. And it just covered up what used to be a trail right here. And here's another example. And it's easy to get lost out there if you don't have much. You can't see very far. It can be a challenge. And we also went quite often to Broad Pass, which in the way to Anchorage, for example, people pass by. It's more complicated now than it used to be because the lands have been provided to or made laws about who owns what, and the Adna native group have are finally getting the authority over a lot of the land. But this was an interesting place too because you could go to the on one side and you run up to Denali Park, and on the other are all kinds of little valleys, and the problem is that they are prone to avalanche. It's fairly dangerous. And there are other things that I've done. I thought it kind of interesting. There's an organization in Tok that arranged a trek to Dawson, and they made arrangements with the government, the Canadian government, so that you'd have to show your passport in Tok. There's a guy would come up from Dawson and have that all arranged, and then people would pay ahead of time. And they have a stop in Chicken right here, and for to fill up people's gas tanks and a quick bite or some sort, and then go on to Dawson. This is the top of the world's entry for Canada. It's all shut down in the wintertime. But with the snow machines, we could get through, and we already had arrangements made, so we don't have to stop. But as it happened, the weekend that we took, it was minus 40, and the snow machines weren't very happy. They just started up one, and this is what it looks like when it's trying to warm up. And the thing is that they opened up Diamond, the place to Gavin and all that, and so most of the folks who were with me decided that it was too cold to go out, and so they would sit around in buildings in Dawson, and they had a little race, not a race, but a card kind of thing where you go to one stop to another and so on and pick up some card or another, and that was the game they were playing. But they had a route that they had all set up for it, and I decided I wanted to go take a look at this area myself, and so I was out there by myself. But they took care of the route, so this is kind of nice to be up, and this is what the hills above Dawson look like. And that's it.